Techniques for preparing and processing copy. Gather as much raw material as you can. Conduct some research of your own and then gather it all together. Read the brief again and then reread your raw material. Look for patterns, common themes, or connections. Build your working notes. Lift off the key facts, figures, details, and arguments from the raw material and make very concise but full notes for yourself. This should be no time than a few sheets of paper depending on the job. Put away all of the raw material and reread your notes a few times. Immerse yourself in the content and go as far as you can to take on the mindset of the target audience. Decide on the most logical structure for your body copy. Sketch a page plan for a brochure or leaflet. Group facts together so that your paragraphs are packed with good information. Decide what will stay and what will go. Decide on the overall compelling message, but don't try to crack the main creative line yet. Scribble down ideas and options, even poor ones. Then set up a new document on your computer. Now sit down and put together a full first draft of your copy. Don't worry about the creative concepts. Just turn your notes into coherent, logical, structured body copy. Having immersed yourself so deeply in the job, it's now time to decide on the creative concept. Look back at your scribbles in the light of the structure of your text. Do they hold any water? You don't have to set the world on fire. You just need to create strong conceptual lines. Checklist. Taking a copy brief. Start with the big picture and drill down into the fine details, basic details, client name, address, contact details. When was a brief taken and when is the copy needed for? Does this relate to your in any previous jobs? Will it be part of larger communication or is it standalone? Overview. What is the requirement of the brief? What is the client expecting from the project and specifically from you? What is the background and context for the communication? What was the previous marketing or advertising activity and what are the reasons for doing this new brief? What is the timeline and when do you need to respond by? Background and raw material. What raw material has the client produced before and how did it perform? How does this campaign fit in with other communications from client? What is being provided as content to develop? Are there further resources of content by researching or interviewing? Target audience. Who are we trying to reach and what route are we using? What is their profile and what type of people are they? What do they think about the client? What's going on in this marketplace? How crowded is it? The core message. What is the single compelling message that must be communicated? What supporting evidence is there to back up any claims being made? The unique selling point, USP. What benefit does the core message provide to the audience? What makes this different and compelling in the marketplace? Why should the reader bother to read all the copy and respond? Creative direction. How should the finished work look and feel? Is there any bad style? Is there any brand style that must be adhered to? Are there examples of similar work that can be used as a guide? What's the most appropriate tone of voice? Anything else? Make sure that any direction that don't fit into the categories listed above are noted at the end of the brief. Examples should be overall word count or the number of pages in a brochure or how much room there is for headlines, intro paragraphs, subheadings and a summary in an article. Planning the content for a website. How do the readers want to access this information? Is their priority is instant information, give it to them without any fuss. Is there any more interested in understanding a brand and getting to know the ethos of an organization? Provide this information concisely. What are the most important messages to the audience as a whole? There will usually be an overriding brand or product story that must be highlighted above all other messages. If it's not clear, think it through and create one. Does the audience break down into groups that may need different information? The subgroups of a target audience may differ hugely. In order to relate to each of these different types, a different tone of voice and overall attitude may be required for different sections of the site. What is the overall volume of the content and how can this be divided? Understand the full extent of the content of site and see if this falls into natural groupings that can dictate the sections of any site. Be careful to manage any imbalances in different sections. More content does not mean more visitors. How often is the content going to be refreshed and what is the process for this? News pages must be refreshed regularly. Once a site is launched, it must be maintained effectively and you will need to create a process for reviewing and updating the content. Where is the raw material coming from and how reliable is it? Don't take it as read that the raw material you are given is accurate or up to date. Do some research of your own to double check and see if you can find anything else or of interest to add. Writing for social media. Be original. Unique, original and relevant content is the best way to engage your readers and search engines love it. Focus on short, succinct and influential text. Prioritize. Deliver the most important points of your story first. The reader must get the main gist of your story without reading it at all. Establish clear goals from the start. Users are goal driven. They want to accomplish something on your site, so give them the information they are looking for and don't hide it away. Think before you write. Some bloggers like to start a rant about things that bother them. But remember, there are search engines crawling around your posts and once it's out there, anyone can see it. Take a moment to read what you have written before you click submit. Does it sound too opinionated? Have you gone overboard on a particular point?